Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhu Sarji Srimad His Divine Grace Sri Lesa Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhu Sarji Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is Ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda, Hari Hari Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadotam Prajna Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhina Bandhu Jagatpate Gobesha Gobika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivaccha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, reading from the glorious Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, Sri Lesa Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, very wonderful verse today. Please repeat. Raso apsu kaunteya. Prabhāsmi śaśi-sūryayoḥ. praṇavaḥ sarva-vedeṣu. śabdaḥ pauruṣaṁ nṛṣu. Raso apsu kaunteya. Prabhāsmi śaśi-sūryayoḥ. praṇavaḥ sarva-vedeṣu. śabdaḥ pauruṣaṁ nṛṣu. rasaḥ apsu kaunteya. prabhāsmi śaśi-sūryayoḥ. praṇavaḥ sarva-vedeṣu. śabdaḥ pauruṣaṁ nṛṣu.
prabhāsmi śaśi-sūryayoḥ. sarva-vedeṣu. śabdaḥ pauruṣaṁ.
raso apsu kaunteya. prabhāsmi śaśi-sūryayoḥ. śabdaḥ pauruṣaṁ
nṛṣu. Namase kaunteya. Vedeṣu. Śabdaḥ pauruṣaṁ nṛṣu.
rasoḥam apsu kaunteya
āham kaunteya
prabhāsmi śaśi-sūryayoḥ
śaśi-sūryayoḥ
sarva-vedeṣu
pauruṣaṁ nṛṣu. Okay, word for word, please repeat. Rasaḥ, taste. Aham, I. Apsu, in water. Kaunteya, O son of Kuntī. Prabhā, the light. Asmi, I am. śaśi-sūryayoḥ, of the moon and the sun. praṇavaḥ, the three letters. Aum, sarva, in all. Vedeṣu, the Vedas. śabdaḥ, sound vibration. Ke, in the ether. Purport, ability. nṛṣu, in men. Translation, Srila Prabhupada. O son of Kuntī, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, and I am the sound in ether and the ability in man. O son of Kuntī, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, and I am the sound in ether and the ability in man. Okay, thank you very much. Purport, Srila Prabhupada. This verse explains how the Lord is all-pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminary perceived by his different energies, and in this way he is realized impersonally. As the demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by his all-pervading energy, the sunshine, so the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all-pervading diffuse energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in water by its taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. That is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and the personal conception are simultaneously present in everything and that there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Caitanya established by his sublime doctrine, Achincha-bhed and abheda-tattva, simultaneous oneness and difference. Therefore, Lord Caitanya established his sublime doctrine. The light of the sun and the moon is also originally emanating from the Brahmajyoti, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. And praṇavaḥ, or the Omkara, transcendental sound in the beginning of every Vedic hymn, addresses the Supreme Lord. Because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna by his innumerable names, they prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara. But they do not realize that Omkara is the sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and no one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. And one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion. And so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. Mukham karochi vachalam pangam laite girim yat kripa tamam vande Sri Guru dinatarinam. Rasaham apsu kaunteya prabhāsmi śaśi-sūryayoḥ. praṇavaḥ sarva-vedeṣu sabda ke parasam nṛṣu. O son of Kuntī, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and the ability in man. So yes, Prabhupada's purport, every sentence is like a sloka, isn't it? So this is highly technical information, and you're all experienced devotees, but we should refresh ourselves in this way. The key point is there at the end of the first paragraph, achincha bhed abhed, right? That the absolute truth is simultaneously one and different. So, in this verse, and particularly in this chapter, Krishna is explaining that I am non-different from my creation because it is my energy. Just like the sun is non-different from the sunlight. The sunlight is the energy of the sun. And we cannot really, when the sunlight comes in the window, maybe next month, we will say, oh, the sun is in the room. The sunlight and the sunlight. But yet they can be distinguished as well. So they're simultaneously one and different. This is a very important point. That we don't just worship God and say the material world is the devil. We worship God and say the material energy is Krishna too. We don't just say, worship Krishna and say, oh, the Brahmajyoti is illusion. Or some people say, the Brahmajyoti is not consequential. We worship Krishna. We worship everything. But by grace of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, we understand the relative positions. If you remember in the purport, Prabhupada said diffuse energies. So often point Prabhupada makes is that in the material world people are suffering and there is variety. So they think that the freedom of suffering means lack of variety, right? I'm just going to merge into the oneness. And those that are stressing this idea, they quote from the Vedas, Tattvam asi, you are that. But you are Brahman. But also the proper interpretation of that Mahavakya that they just extract with motivation from the Vedas is you are his, Tattvam asi. Sava kevalam, everything is Brahman. Yes, everything is Brahman. Everything is an emanation of the Supreme. We are the emanation from the Supreme. But we are not Para-Brahman. We are not the source. We are the Prakriti. Apariyam mitastvam yam prakritim vidi me param. This comes earlier. But besides this material energy, which Krishna is now enunciating, he's enunciating earth, the fragrance of earth, the taste of water, the fire, in the touch of air, the sound in ether. These are the Pancha Mahabhutas. Ether, air, fire, water, and earth. 5 categories of material manifestation on the gross plane. Above that we know that there is manas, buddhi, ahankara, chittam, contaminated consciousness. And above that we know there is the Paramatma and the soul, individual soul. So this knowledge is coming from disciplic succession, and the devotee that takes shelter of sadhana bhakti with faith in Krishna and the bona fide spiritual master, all the complexities become very clear by the grace of Krishna. Krishna explains, 15th chapter, that I give knowledge, remembrance and forgetfulness of himself. What is that forgetfulness? As Prabhupada ends the purport there, he says, one who doesn't see Krishna in the material energy is in ignorance. Yoga means to see not only Krishna, but see everything in relationship to Krishna. Yoga means union or plus or connection. So illusion is to see something separate from the divine source, whereas yoga means to see everything connected to the divine source. So the point is here, in the first paragraph, if you remember, Prabhupada said, we recognize the Supreme Lord by his energies. If you remember that, yes. In the same way that we recognize the sun, not directly by the sun, but we recognize the sun by the sunlight. So if we want to be Krishna conscious, we have to realize that this energy is the sunlight, the emanation of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the absolute truth, and this is the ultimate principle of Achintya Bheda, is Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha means enjoyer, Prakriti means enjoyed. Purusha means controller, Prakriti means controlled. One is the source and the other is the sourced, that which comes out. But they are non-different. Now in the material world we think in duality, good and bad, separation and everything, but simultaneously one and different. So sometimes people criticize, oh, in India they worship the cow. They think the cow is God. They go off on this tangent. No, the devotee, the realized devotee, he has respect and reverence for everything because he knows everything has emanated from the Supreme Lord. It is all his energy. And my illusion, what is illusion? Maya. Maya means that which is not. So any opinion about the material energy that Krishna is teaching here, whereby we don't see it in connection to the Supreme Lord, any opinion, any interpretation cannot be viewed as complete. Because the core of everything is the connection to the Supreme Lord. Krishna is Ashraya. He is the shelter. Everything rests upon him. He is, I think that was the previous verse, right? Matak. Matak parataram nanyad kinchid asti janandaya. Mai sarvam idam proktam sutre manigna iva. O conqueror of wealth, there's no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung upon a thread. So, we have beads, right? Why are they remaining in this form around our neck? Because they're resting on the thread. So, Krishna is the thread. He is the Purusha, controller, supreme, and the beads are the emanation. And everything is resting upon Krishna. And we also find in the Shastra a very interesting statement that we should contemplate, and that is that the absolute truth, which means everything ultimately, has two aspects, or two qualities. One is the achintya, and the other is, or the mystical, and the other is the scientific aspect. So, this material energy, what does that mean? What is achintya? Achintya actually in Sanskrit, if you take the Sanskrit apart, means achintya, beyond the logical mind. You know, we're always analyzing, and we sometimes hear how Krishna created Vishnu and the Chatuvyuha and Krishna. And maybe we went to school and we studied physics and chemistry and we heard about molecules and atoms. And we thought, oh yeah, so how does Krishna construct the atoms and molecules? How does he put it all together? Well, the mystical aspect or the transcendental aspect is achintya. It is beyond material logic and potency. It is ananta. It is unlimited. Whereas the material energy is scientific in the sense that the weight of this microphone stand and microphone maybe 4 or 5 kilos. It's going to be the same tomorrow as it is today. And the next day it's going to be, it's scientifically fixed. It's not going to melt away into a coconut. It's rigid in that sense. It's scientifical. It's logical. Applied physics and mathematics and biology and so on. So the scientific people, they're looking at the energy and they are seeing the scientific principles. And they're analyzing, if you put so much pressure here, then it will rise this, and if you put so much pressure here, it'll do this. And they're working out. And like they are making a clock. We talked about this a few weeks ago. They're making a clock and they're measuring time. And they're also, dropping apples from the apple tree and measuring how fast it goes down to the ground. Right? They're measuring gravity. But does a clock explain what time is? No, it doesn't, does it? It may illustrate the passage of time to some degree. It doesn't tell us what time is. Now, you may measure scientifically the fall of an apple. They say Newton, right? He was sitting under a tree and he saw an apple fell and he thought, that's gravity. But so then they measure the acceleration of an apple through, you went to school, right? And they try and teach you all that stuff. And sleeping at the back. Anyway, no, it is very interesting actually. And it has principles. But can anyone explain gravity? They say, it's the attraction of mass and objects and so on. This is speculation and this and that. But just time is the best way to think of it. You can measure time, you can put a clock up and it'll be running and telling the time tomorrow, scientifically and logically. But does a clock explain time? Now, you may go and study psychology scientifically and action and reaction and physics lab and all this, and you get all this information. But does that explain life? If you get the chemicals in a laboratory and you analyze the biological and the DNA, does it explain why we are existing? That is a question beyond just measuring time or measuring the weight of a microphone stand. It is the achintya or the mystical aspect. And that is pauruṣaṁ. That is the Supreme Lord. He has invented all these principles and he is maintaining them. I think, didn't we read something in the purport? I am the origin and dissolution. Wasn't that something in the purport? Yes. So everything has emanated from Krishna and everything is dissolved back into Krishna. This is how the material energy works. It works in a flux. Over billions of years, it manifests and then it's withdrawn at the end. And this scientific manifestation is, or you can say logical and deductible manifestation. Now, you can approach it from the point of view of having a ruler and a microscope and a telescope and a measuring device. But you're only looking at one side of it. You're not looking for the origin, the mystical event, the wondrous event of existing itself. It doesn't explain. Why do 2 hydrogen molecules, atoms, combined with 1 oxygen, make water? Why is that? Now, you can get hydrogen atoms and you can mix them with water, oxygen. That's water. But why? Why does it work that way? Why does 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 atom of oxygen, Why does it make water? That is the decision, ultimately, that is resting upon the achintya. So therefore, in the Vedas, in the Sanskrit, it says that Krishna has Ichcha Shakti and Kriya Shakti. Ichcha Shakti means that desire. Whatever he desires is fulfilled by his Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti is his active or producing Shakti. So he desires to create jivas, independent, eternal spirit souls that are particles of free will. With cognizance, they are Satchidananda. I desire to have an expansion of unlimited spirit souls. And the Kriya Shakti does it. That is the achintya. Now, that points to the unlimited aspect of the Supreme Lord. Just his desire. Sometimes we think like that. Oh, if I wish I could fly. But we're not achintya. We don't have unlimited Shakti. We are the Jiva Shakti. But Krishna, whatever he desires, becomes manifest. So this is achintya. And why are things as they are? Why does a hydrogen molecules combine with atoms, combine with oxygen atoms to make water? Ultimately, it is resting on the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if we just look at the material energy, yes, it's very good, look into it and this and that, but you're not really explaining the existence. You're not really reaching to the end point. The Bhagavatam starts, and Krishna in the Chaitra Shloki says, aham sarvasya prabhā, janmadi ashyata. Everything comes from me. All the principles, all the different diffuse energies, this all comes from me. This is all my design. I empower demigods to produce in this way, but their Shakti comes through me. Their Shakti comes through me. And it is my design. And that is the achintya aspect of the Supreme Lord. And that is the contemplation of all the great sages and rishis. The achintya aspect. Because that is beyond logic and argument. You can get your ruler out and you can measure the weight of this and you can calculate so much and make a clock. And that will satisfy you because that's within your sphere of creation. But you're not coming to the final point until you come to the achintya aspect, achintya bheda. And this is knowledge of the Absolute, right? The middle 6 chapters of the Gita are about Krishna. Who is Krishna? Before we had yoga and karma yoga and sankhya yoga analysis, but now Krishna in the middle 6th chapter is saying, Arjuna, you're my friend and you're never envious. So I'm going to explain you the most esoteric aspects, and not only that, the most wonderful way that you can see it. But atakshri Krishna namadi na bhavad graham andriya. That I am beyond your material mind and senses. I am perceived by purified consciousness. You are also achintya, because you are mama angsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. You are also part of the apariyamitasramyam prakritim vidibe param. You are non-different from me. So you have this wondrous quality. You have this wondrous achintya nature. And that is what we are made of. We are made of this inconceivable energy. Everything in the material world, like this microphone stand, one day will be wiped away. The flowers will be wiped away. The copper pot will be wiped away. It'll all change into something else. But the soul is eternal. because it is in the eternal nature. So beyond this material energy, which is ruled and created with laws, and just like the government of India, it produces laws, traffic laws, it maintains, enforces the traffic laws, and then it can change the traffic laws. Tomorrow we're going to drive on the other side of the road. Right? It can change. Well, they do that anyway. So, but everything is resting on the government. So all the principles, everything is resting upon the Supreme Lord. He is the ashraya, means shelter. And so his realization is the real understanding. So Krishna says there are 4 types of duskritina that don't surrender to him, miscreant. Why are they miscreant? Because they're behaving badly, because they're not connected in union with Krishna. Their consciousness is not woven into Krishna. So he says mudha. The person who is a mudha thinks, I'll just work hard in the material world and that'll be my success. Right? Mudha also means a bit of an ass-like mentality. And then there is naradama. Naradama means a kind of hedonistic, low-class person who's ready to do anything sensual, who's not, who's also averse to the idea of God. And then there is the maya aprita gyan, those whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. This is very, like we said earlier, the illusion is this: things are not connected to Krishna. It's just the material energy. And you'll find that with materialism in philosophical terms means that everything is to be explained by matter. So they don't see, they examine the matter, and they poke it apart and pull it apart, and they don't see. They don't see any connection. They've already got a premise, an underlying assumption that there is just matter. Matter is everything. If we can manipulate DNA, we can become eternal. They think like that, right? They find out DNA and they think, if we can make an atom bomb, we can use it in this way. They don't see any connection. So everything that they do, they don't have any moral connection, is dangerous. Maya apritagyan. Why? Because the 4th one is asura bhavam asrita. Asrita means they've taken asrita, shelter of a mood of asura. Asura refuses to recognize that there is a supreme. And he's got some reason, Marxism or atheism or this or that, some way of saying, go away. It's even mentioned in the purport there. They don't want to see the connection to Krishna. Why? Asura bhava. They are like people that go into an art gallery. 2 people go in the art gallery. I think I've used this analogy before. They go into an art gallery, and one says, what a good painting. I wonder who the painter is. It's kind of logical, isn't it? You go and see a painting, and then the other person says, there's no painter. It happened by chance. Now, who's the madman? So the Asura Bhava, because of his mood, I wish I could paint like that, so now I don't recognize the painter. That is like somebody in a jail that says, there's no government, because the government is supposed to serve the people, and they've put me in prison. I'm suffering in the prison, but the government is supposed to help people. Therefore, there's no government. The fact that you're in jail is proof there's a government. But you won't recognize that fallacy, your misbehavior. You're refusing. And then another person, this is because people, Asura Bhava, they won't recognize the connection to the Supreme Lord. They say because they're suffering in the material world. Right? This is the old argument of suffering. Oh, there can't be a God because God is supposed to be good, but they're suffering. And if they're suffering, which is bad, that means there's no God. Well, that's not logical, because you could argue that actually God is bad and therefore he's made bad things just for the hell of it. Why presume that good, in your terminology? But actually, why is it bad? It's not bad, it's your interpretation. So they are like people that look at a painting, say a landscape, and there's a valley, and there's a river, and there's children playing here, and people having a picnic there, and there's birds in the trees, and it looks very nice. And the man says, what a beautiful painting. I wonder who that painter is. So the argument for suffering to deny God is like somebody looking at the painting and saying, there's no painter, because look, that child is dying by the side of the river. You can see it's pale. And look at that bird. There's an owl grabbing it and trying to eat it. Therefore, there's no painter. Is that a logical argument? Just because there's suffering in the world, does that mean that there is no creator? Maybe the sufferer is the creator has put suffering there, but you're interpreting it as bad, but maybe it's a good thing. Why do they put people in the prison? They're called correctional facility. Right? Put them in the prison so that they stop doing criminal activities, hopefully. So the argument for suffering is a nonsense argument. It has no logical basis, but it appears it is attractive to the asura, because it gives him a reason to deny that there is a supreme controller. Oh, now I can dispense with God because there's suffering. And then I can do anything. And that's also mentioned in the purport. People want to deny, and they go to impersonalism because they don't want to recognize a superior. In the material world, yes, often the superior makes us suffer, orders us about. But in the spiritual world, no. Krishna has created us. We are part of his creation. And we're in the material world. And the ultimate plan is, come back to me. Use your free will properly in my service. So we understand that in the material world. In the creation, Krishna will explain that there is the material creation and there is the spiritual creation. And the conditions are different in each. Here is the place where people basically can find reason and heart to deny the Supreme, deny the connection to the Supreme, and then use their free will in this illusory function where they think that it doesn't, there is no Supreme Lord, and by this mentality, I am free, there's no God, me, I am free, I can fly if I decide. I jump off the building, I don't fly. I am subordinate. Suffering is a good thing. Why? Because it teaches us that we are subordinate. You understand? When you have a toothache, you know I'm subordinate. Right? When you have a stomach ache, I'm subordinate. I have to follow the rules. I have to go to the dentist. I have to take some digestive pill. I am not the absolute principle. Right? I am functioning in this material world, and I may dream that I'm the supreme. But suffering teaches me that I'm not. So that is a very good thing. That is a good thing. Just like the criminal gets drunk, goes and has a fight on the street corner, and the government says, you're in the prison for a few months, don't behave like that. You are subordinate to us. You behave properly. You're misusing your behavior. And they say, oh, no, you come out, now behave properly. We'll give you good, we'll give you free dental in there. We'll do everything for you. Just follow the rules. Just try to understand your position. Get a job, contribute to society. Okay. Because we have to recognize our position. That we are ashraya, we are the sheltered. Krishna is giving shelter to everything. And the shelter for the jiva shakti, the individual soul, is direct with the Supreme Lord. Gopi bhata kamalayo dasa das anadas. But because he has free will, Krishna, through his decision, has created the situation where some souls decide from the Tatastha Shakti region to go to the material energy, and some decide to become integrated into the spiritual energy. That is the particular function of the Tatastha Shakti Jiva. There are jivas that emanate in Golok and they automatically become absorbed in ecstatic lila. There are jivas that emanate in Haridam, the place of Aishwarya Bhav, opulence, and they automatically grow their swarup and engage eternally in eternal time in the spiritual world. And then there are some, the Tatastha Shakti Jiva, they're given a choice. Now somebody may say that's not fair, that's not fair. It is fair, because that is Krishna's arrangement. That is his decision. And to understand we are subordinate is the greatest profit. But are we really subordinate? This is the question. When we come to Leela, no. Krishna is controlled by his devotees. Krishna is a dancer in the hands of the gopis. Right? He dances to please Radharani. He sees Radharani and he thinks, I hope Radharani is pleased with me. Her smile, he is the supreme controller. But when he gets a glance from Radharani, he feels anxiety. I hope Radharani is pleased with me. He is controlled by love. And that principle extends to us. The devotee becomes the possessor of Krishna through the potency of prema. Now this meditation of the sublime nature of relationship in the spiritual world is imperative to understand. Because in the material world, we have lived here many lifetimes and we have a sense of being exploited or cheated, or maybe somebody's lying to us. So the superior is somebody that's doubtful. The school teacher shouts at me. The headmaster chastises me, makes me do extra homework. My mother and father chastise me. So we think the superior is somebody threatening. But Krishna's superiority is not to exploit as the, like now everyone is talking, it's always been there, the financial and power elite. They're sucking more money and taxation money. They got billions of dollars and they want more and they're planning to reduce the population. So in the material world, the superior exploits because he's not connected to Krishna, he's not purified. But in the spiritual world, the supreme superior, the Purusha, the emanator of all energy, his happiness is his goal is the happiness of others. Just like a mother and father, we can use this example, material, but nonetheless, they love their children. So they're always calculating how my child can be healthy and happy. That's a good mother and father, right? They're calculating for the happiness of the other. So that is the nature of the soul, actually. And that is what we strive. We strive to be loved and to give love. That is our natural function. And that's why we feel like that. But it's not available in the material world because everyone is centered on this. I don't recognize the government. I don't recognize the Creator. I am the Creator. And this is the solution to my suffering. I'll manipulate and calculate and live in this material energy. And there's no God. And by living here according to my own plan, adopting Marxism or thisism or socialism or this, I will be successful. This is Maya Shakti. So it can go on for many millions of lifetimes in this way. But the devotee, by hearing from Sadhu Shastra, he knows Lord Caitanya has come to explain that transcendental abode where everyone is ruled by prem, where everyone, Nitya Krishna prem, Sadhakavanai, Shravanadi Sudajitte Karideodai, where everything is subordinate what to? Prem. Even the Supreme Lord is. And can we apply logic? Yes, in a sense. But can we really understand that? If we really understand that, we enter into complete trance. That is bhava, that is prem. I've entered into a realm where I love and I am loved. And that is the end point of existence. That is the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Radha and Krishna are one, but to enjoy the bliss of pastimes, they have separated themselves eternally. So it's explained there. What is the cause? The cause of this separation between Achintya, Bheda, Purusha and Prakriti, the cause is bliss. The bliss of love. The whole purpose of creation is the enjoyment of bliss. Just like a musician. Krishna is not static. He is ecstatic. Just like a musician. You may be a great musician, but you don't sit at home thinking, I'm a great musician. No, you want to express your musical ability. Let me get the guitar, let me get the harmonium, let me sing, let me dance, let me express myself. Do you want to do it alone? No, you want to go with your friends to the Sankirtan party. You want to have an audience. The audience inspires you. Oh, the crowd tonight was great. Oh, they listened to my guitar playing. I felt inspired by the mood and atmosphere. That is why Krishna has created the Jiva Shakti. That is, they're his audience. They're his enjoyers. They are his inspiration. Krishna has unlimited ability, achintya, that is beyond material conception. But it is stimulated by the jivas, by Radharani, by even Chandravali is part of the Leela, by the gopis, Mother Yashoda. This is all and everyone is partaking in this ocean of nectar. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? The ocean of rasa. So, just to draw it all to close, there are three aspects in the Dasamula, three aspects to understand Bhagavan. One is that first one, Hari Ishvara. He is the source. He is the controller. Because he's the source, he's the supreme controller. Unrivaled. There's no black and white or opposite to Krishna, opposite Prabhu. The second aspect of Bhagavan, described, root aspect, given in the Shastra is that achintya shakti. He is possessor of unlimited energies, unlimited diffuse, Prabhupada says there, unlimited types of energies, and achintya shakti, and unlimited in depth. That means there is no limit to the creation. There is no dead point. Now so that's two aspects of Godhead. Now the third aspect is raso ऽham apsu kaunteya. That he is rasavai. You see, the creation is not just energy, but it is also rasa. What does that mean? When I look at the painting, I can see the colors. When I look at the sunset, I see, the rainbow effect in the sky. That is the rasa. Now, if I just look at the sunset and I think the sunlight is refracting through the atmosphere, and this is causing the different colors to appear. That is the purely scientific aspect, is it not? Right? They measure, the water refracts, the prism refracts, and that comes. But the artist, or the spiritualist, or you can say, he looks at the sunset, and he's not calculating the refraction. He may know about that, but he's seeing, look at that beautiful glowing sunset. Look at how the colors merge, and they're subtly changing as the sun moves. Only God could create something like that. Huh? So he sees the scientific and he sees the rasa. And so the rasa, that is what the poets talk about. I saw my love, she stole my heart. Huh? The scientist comes along and says, that was a chemical effect in your brain. No, the rasa aspect is the most subtle and fine, and it indicates God. God has created a whole ocean of rasa, and he's inviting everyone. Come and join me in the Ras Leela, in the dance. And what is the entrance? Lolam, attraction to the beauty, and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So remember this. That's what I was reading it the other day. Did I say in last week's class? Raghunath Das says, how do you... He said, he's written this Udkanta Dasakam. And he explains, Radharani, you are so beautiful that I can do nothing else other than desire your service. So the beauty of Radharani and Krishna is the highest potency of the diffuse energies, because that beauty just steals the heart and the consciousness. So when we chant, we should try to see the beauty. Nam, Rupa, Guna, Lila. We should try to see that this name, this form of Radha and Krishna is so beautiful. And by the grace of Krishna and Guru and the sadhus and parampara, we can get a little glimpse of the beauty of Radha and Krishna. And when that comes in the heart, we will forget everything in the material world. We'll just be inspired. Let me join that Leela as Gopi Bhata Kamalayo Dasa Das Anadas. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when Krishna says, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto, what does he mean? He says, remember my beauty, remember my leela, remember my associates, remember the beauty of the spiritual world. Not in the purely scientific, analytical, philosophical sense, but see that from the point of view of rasa. Right? Namani, what is it? Namani chintamani Krishnas Caitanya rasa vigraha. Right? So we must try to realize the rasa, the taste. Rasaḥ apsu kaunteya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. Hope I didn't get too carried away. Any quick question before Sachi gets angry? Yes, please.
Prabhuji, this in collected lectures of Srila Prabhupada.
Huh?
Collected lectures of Srila
Yeah.
Prabhupada. He has written that it is written. Prabhupada is saying that even if someone is drinking wine, you should think he is.
Yes.
It is the same
Yes.
Krishna.
Yes.
So, and 1 second, I have one more thing to add. To comment on this and this pauruṣaṁ nṛṣu is the ability in man.
What's that? Oh yes, ability, vibhuti.
Yeah, ability in man. So say a conditioned soul or even devotee, if he watches some sports or some superstar, so is that also not an ability in a man? Or woman?
Yes. Yeah, I was talking with my friend Raghunath today. When I was a young boy, I saw Jimi Hendrix play live. And I thought, I was only 16 or something like that. And I thought, I'd never heard anything, incredible music, and fluidity. So that is a blessing of Krishna. I didn't see it as Krishna, I didn't have knowledge. So a beautiful woman, that is vibhuti. It is a gift from Krishna. A rich man, that is all the potencies that we see, they are all Krishna. They have to be seen in relationship to Krishna. You understand? So through karma or gift or whatever, Krishna, but everybody is special. This is the point. Just like if I have 10 children and I'm a fair, nice man, I love all my children. Samaham sarva-vedeṣu. I don't think you're chosen and the rest I don't disregard. I love all my children. Partiality is not good. So Krishna loves everyone. So you may think, oh, I'm not as good as Jimi Hendrix. I'm not the most beautiful girl in the world. Don't worry, you are a spirit soul. And this one spirit soul is superior to all the material energy that just manifests. And every single spirit soul is special to Krishna because they're all the children of Krishna. Now, I may love 10 children, but Krishna's heart is unlimited. He loves every single spirit soul. He's content, and every spirit soul is resting upon Krishna. And every spirit soul is special. Therefore, remember a few weeks ago, we're talking to Uddhava Gita. And Krishna tells Uddhava, you realize me in the heart of all living entities. That is the best way to realize me. To realize that Sachi, he's part and parcel of Krishna. Mataji is part and parcel of Krishna. You're part and parcel of Krishna. And you were all special, amazing beings with your own personality and your own free will. We shouldn't become dulled down. You understand? But we should see Krishna, everything in Krishna, and Krishna in everything. Like Mother Yashoda looking in the mouth of Krishna. This is what we should see. We should see the rasa. We should see Krishna. And then we'll become inspired. You see the point? Does this answer your point?
Yeah, very nicely. Perfect. Just one thing to add to it. In the course of your answer, you said that this one spirit soul is better than all the material energy. Yeah.
In one sense, I'm just making a statement for effect. Yeah, go on.
So, but at one place I have read in Prabhā this quoting, he's saying that actually nothing is material.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Because everything is Krishna's creation.
Yes.
He says actually nothing is material, everything is spiritual.
Yes.
Even the material energy.
It's spiritual ultimately because it's come from Krishna.
So then maybe it is achintya bheda.
Yes, and also Prabhupada method, there's no diffusion between the personal and impersonal. Because the Brahman or the Brahmajyoti, the Haranmayena Patrena Satyasya, this golden effulgence from the we can say it's the impersonal energy of Krishna, but it's his personal energy. You understand? Sometimes it's the impersonal energy of Krishna, the light. The sunlight is the impersonal energy of the sun. But it's his personal energy. So it's personal, right? Everything is personal. Yes, God.
Tribhuvannath said it's Krishna's energy, the material energy, but its function is different.
Yes, and
It has a different function. It's spiritual.
yes,
It has a different function.
yes. But the point is that everything is spiritual, that's correct. But this analysis has been constructed by the Shastra and sadhus so that we can distinguish. You see, in the state of sadhana, we have to distinguish what is to be done and what is not to be done. You see, we have to use discrimination. Yes, it's true. Prabhupada did say the fellow that likes to drink wine, he can think this wine is Krishna. It is. It's Krishna's energy. But if you want to realize Krishna beyond his energy, you have to follow sadhana. You understand? You have to look at the param-tattva, not the creation per se. You understand? So, but yes, everything ultimately is Krishna. And that is the vision of the avadhuta, right? The avadhuta, in the Bhagavatam, avadhutas are described. They just, everything is Krishna.
Everything emanates from the Krishna. Why impersonalists do not accept this?
Lack of knowledge. They haven't been touched.
They are very learned, they are very spiritual, they are listeners, and they read the Shastras and everything, but they do not accept it.
So, yes, sadhu-sanga, sava-shastra.
Everything rests upon the Krishna.
Yeah, so ultimately, this is a very fine topic. But ultimately,
And people are misguided or confused.
yeah, but ultimately, it's the decision of the individual soul. We have free will. You understand? So ultimately, but there's also another principle involved, and that is Brahmananda, Bhagavanji, the living soul is going through the universe, but sometimes he sits on the bus next to a Vaishnav. Maybe don't speak, but he sees the Vaishnav with the mala. I'm getting off now. But that Vaishnav makes an impression. Huh? He thinks, there was something about that devotee. I heard the kirtan. I was in the pub drinking, but the kirtan went back outside on Saturday night. And this is what happens in London. In London we used to do when I was there, we used to have the Saturday night kirtan, and we'd go down the entertainment area. And Saturday night everyone's having a drink in England. They go to the pub, they drink beer. And the people would come out from the pub and they'd be drinking beer. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So that's the start of their bhakti. You understand? So there's another principle involved between free will. the Vaishnava, the sadhu, has a certain potency. It's called the Kripa Shakti. So you should be very careful about the Vaishnava, because he can change your whole life just by sitting next to him. And there's a wonderful story that was told on Prabhupada's appearance day in Australia. Many years ago, I heard this story. The devotees, they had the principle, and then one man said, I want to speak. And he said, you know, I met your Guru Maharaj on an aeroplane many years ago. He was flying to Australia or whatever, and he was sitting in the window next to me, and I was sitting next to him. And, you know, can you imagine sitting next to Prabhupada for 4 hours? Such a powerful acharya. And there was something about him that I couldn't forget. You understand? He didn't, and we didn't talk, but there was something special about his aura. And so it says that, and I've never forgotten. So there's the start of his bhakti. So the principle is we have free will, but we are influenced. Therefore, sadhu-sangha, very important to cultivate sadhu-sangha, whether it's reading the Shastra, the commentary, or personal, physical association, so-called, because that is very powerful. And that plants the seed of shraddha bead. It makes us think, maybe there's something beyond just this matter. It plants the seed. Bhakti Lata Beach. And once that seed goes in the heart, it's very hard. You can't get it out. Just like Rupa Goswami says, don't go to the bank of the Jamuna in the moonlight, because Tribhanga Krishna is standing there with the flute, and the lotuses are in the Jamuna, and the moonlight is there, and there's a gentle breeze carrying. And if you see that Krishna, you'll be stolen from the material world. You understand? So Krishna consciousness, the sadhu, has that power. And therefore, kripa sindhu bhaevacha, many energies, but the sadhu is, just like it says, Sri Caitanya Kripa Baro Bhuvi Bhavo in the Sad Goswami Astakam, that the Goswamis, they were reservoirs of the mercy of Krishna. They're like, like a water carrier. It's full of mercy. So the sadhus, they wander the earth like Narada Muni, talking to Mugrari, the hunter. You know the story? He was a hunter killing animals, but Muragari said he met Narada Muni and he became a Vaishnava. So the Vaishnava is the touchstone, you see, because he has the empowered with the Kripa Shakti. Prabhupada, he went to America. What happened? People just wanted to chant and chant. They didn't know anything, but immediately they became Guru Nishta. Some Prabhupada is special. Let's chant. So this is and therefore the words, the personal association, this has the potency. So this is the thing. But ultimately, though, we have to make a decision. It's our choice. You understand? That element is always there. That, I've got to be a devotee now. I've suffered enough. So that's why suffering is a good thing, because it teaches you're not subordinate, you're not the controller, you're subordinate. And you're suffering here, why don't you go to the party? Why don't you go to the eternal life? So suffering is not bad. Suffering teaches us. Just like the father, don't drive your bicycle like that. You're always falling off, chastising the son. Oh, okay, Dad. Now I can enjoy riding a bicycle properly. So this is all part of the Leela. Why is it like this and that? That is the achintya nature of the param-tattva. We can't apply logic and argument to that ultimately. It is just the creation of the unlimited, supreme, infinite, infallible, supreme Lord. And Krishna consciousness is to realize that. And it is beyond logic, achintya. It is inconceivable. And that's why the great sages, they sit for thousands and thousands of years meditating on some aspect of the Supreme Lord. Now it sounds like austerity, but they've got nothing else that attracts them. You understand? So, that is the nature of the Supreme. And so he has constructed everything. Okay, go to the material world and try and enjoy. But I'm sending my sadhus also to bring you back. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you, Sachi, for facilitating this. See you all next Friday. And remember,